Panthers losing another close game against another good team, 22-16 to the Eagles in Philadelphia. We're joined by Locked On Panthers host Julian Council. We will get to Bryce Young and his promising performance in a moment, Julian, but let's start with the obvious. Young firing that strike down the middle to a wide-open Xavier Legette. He cannot hang on. Not the easiest catch, but he probably should have had it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he said as much after the game. Dave Canales, Panthers head coach, said as much. And anyone watching knows that in that situation, with the game on the line, he has to catch that ball. And if he catches it, he rolls into the end zone untouched, and Carolina ties the game at 22. And then they need Eddie Pinheiro to go out there, hit the extra point, and they could potentially have won that game. By my count, he dropped 3 balls on Sunday. Darius Slay lit him up on one of them, so I don't really blame him for that. But he had a drop earlier on that final drive. And if you want to count Bryce Young's illegal forward pass, Legette also dropped it on that play as well. It's an issue. Canales said it's not been an issue in recent weeks, but clearly he's got to be better, and the Panthers receivers that do a better job, not named Adam Thielen, of helping out their quarterback Bryce Young. So yeah, it's a tough way to lose, knowing that for the second week in a row, Chuba fumbled last week to lose that game. Xavier Legette dropped the ball that contributed to the loss here on Sunday.
All right, I don't think what's not helping Legette is that some of his drops have been on some of Bryce Young's best passes this season. But, you know, people on social media say it was a bad draft pick. Are you there yet with this?
No. I mean, I was never a fan of drafting him. He had one good year at South Carolina, and I'm not a huge fan of taking these one-hit wonders. I get that he had issues of injuries there at South Carolina. The quarterback play before they got Spencer Rattler was not ideal. The amount of coaching changes, the deaths that he had in his family, I'm sure all of those are reasons why he had his issues until his final year in Columbia. I just wasn't a huge fan of it, even if he had the speed and the size. We really haven't seen that speed or size play any role so far, but he's a rookie. It's going to take time, and the Panthers are invested in him. So I'm going to give him a lot more time than just the first, how many games they played so far? 13 games of his career, to sit here and to say that, oh, he was the wrong draft pick. Nah, I'm willing to be a lot more patient with Xavier Legette, and that's coming from someone who didn't like the pick from the beginning.
All right, patience paid off for Bryce Young. We'll get to more of his late-game heroics coming up. But what about his coach, Dave Canales? What have you liked about the rookie head coach? Game on the line, on offense the last handful of weeks. What have you thought?
Well, I've loved that he's been aggressive in this game. They went for it on 4th down multiple times. I know that was something that a lot of people, especially the crowd last week, they booed about at that Tampa game where he had a 4th and 1, 4th and 2, decided to kick the field goal both times, and one of those was a miss by Eddie Pinheiro. I appreciated the aggressiveness. This is a 3-9 football team entering into the day. If they're going to go to the playoffs, they would have to win out, and that still was going to be unlikely they would get into the playoffs as the NFC South champions in all likelihood at an 8-9 record. So why not be aggressive? What do you have to lose? You got another game. You've lost plenty as is. I appreciate his aggressiveness in this game. I also love some of the play calls. I think about one where David Moore looked like he was going to block, and he slips out kind of a crossing route. Bryce Young finds him for a 1st down to set up a 1st and goal. I liked what I saw from Dave Canales today, and I appreciate his aggressiveness and some of the play calls situationally. So, yeah, I was a fan of what he did today in that loss against Philadelphia as far as everything goes with him.
Young had a pick, didn't throw for even 200 yards, but did he show you even more this week of what he could be?
Yeah, absolutely. For the second week in a row, or really the third week in a row, it appeared that Bryce Young had led the Panthers down the field for what would have been a game-tying, potentially game-winning drive, and he's been able to show that prowess the last couple of weeks. Of course, Legette, we talked about it earlier, has that drop, would have been a touchdown. I've loved what I've seen from Bryce, his ability to evade the rush, which he had to do a lot today, his athleticism, just how on target he's been on some of these throws, and I think about the 3rd down conversions, the 4th down conversions that he had, that touchdown to Tommy Trimble, the one throw that, yes, got tipped, but Adam Thielen came up with. But those 3rd down conversions, 3 of them to Thielen, I really appreciated his decisiveness, his ability to take care of the football, even though that interception, not the best throw, overthrows Adam, and it leads to an Eagles touchdown. But that's really been the only time since he's come back post Denver and put the ball in harm's way. The other interception he had was I thought, a drop by Xavier Legette that should have, I understand why it was ruled an interception, but more likely was a fumble than anything. Wasn't on Bryce Young. I think he showed even more today that he's the guy the Panthers want moving forward, and he gives them an opportunity to win. They just need to get some things around him corrected in order to actually achieve those victories moving forward.
So are you buying this yet, that he's definitely the franchise quarterback the Carolina Panthers have been seeking since parting ways with Cam Newton?
No, I'm not going to buy it. We still have 4 more games left to see what Bryce can do. And if he continues to play like he's played the last month or so, then I think he'll be the quarterback again in 2025. And then we need to watch to see what he does throughout that 2025 season, because then in 2026, during that offseason, the Panthers are going to have a big decision to make with the 5th-year option and then potentially with a contract extension for Bryce Young. So there's still been a lot of bad tape out there for Bryce. There's been a lot of reasons why he's played that bad that weren't 100% on Bryce. Totally understood. I am very encouraged by what he's done since getting back in the starting lineup, but I have not forgotten that it took a car accident for the head coach, Dave Canales, to even go back to him. They gave no inclination that they were going back to Bryce Young at some point this season. So I still wonder, deep down inside, does Canales truly believe in him as his quarterback here in Carolina? We'll find out. 4 more games. Should be 4 more starts for Bryce, depending on how he plays. We'll see how he plays next year and what the Panthers decide to do really this offseason. And then maybe down the road, I'll come out there and say I believe. But right now, I'm still going to wait to see a little bit more, even though it's certainly heading in the right direction with Bryce. And happy to see the guy going out there playing well and getting the second opportunity, making the most of it.
All right, Carolina just got through a pretty tough stretch, and they'd like 2 wins out of that. You know, Philadelphia, Tampa, Kansas City. They would at least like to have gone 2-1 the way they played. But the remaining 4 games, I mean, these are doable. Dallas and Arizona at home, Bucks and Falcons on the road. What do you think their record should be in this 4-game stretch based on what we have seen recently?
Yeah, well, they're going to have to take care of the football, which they didn't do today as far as the interception. And last week, that cost them with the fumble that Chuba Hubbard had. They got to catch the football as well. They got to make kicks. Just a lot of things that are taking points off the board that have hurt this team as they haven't been able to finish the last couple of weeks. I certainly think they could have beaten Kansas City. I feel like they should have beaten Tampa. And based off of Legette drop, they should have beaten Philadelphia. At the very least, had the lead there and had the forceability to go down and kick a field goal, where their kicker, Jake Elliott, has been struggling this season on field goals. So looking ahead, Dallas feels like a game based off the way they played last couple weeks. They should win that game. Tampa, a team that they should have beaten, but a Bucks team that is right there in the thick of things now in the first place of the NFC South, where they can't drop that game. So I'm not going to look at that as easy. Arizona as well. They're battling for a wild card spot for the division title in the NFC West. And in Atlanta, who I don't think is a very good team. They've lost 4 straight now. They're still going to be battling potentially to win the NFC South. So it would be nice if Carolina can at least win 2 of these games, get a 5-12 record. I thought potentially when the season began, they could double or triple their win total from a year ago. So that would be a 3-1 finish. I would think 3-1, 2-2 certainly is doable for Carolina in these final 4 games.
As long as things keep looking good, especially the quarterback, that's all that really matters. But yeah, try to find a way to finish these games like the Hornets did tonight. How about that? Julian Council from Locked On
Look
Panthers.
at you, Hornets.
Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.